Hey, alright, welcome to another video. If you haven't been here before, my name is Georgia Jo and this is my channel where I talk all things books. I have actually filmed, I want to say 80% of this video. I think I had maybe 2 or 3 books left to share with you, and I was filming it on my camera and then it came up with memory card error. So the whole video was lost. So I'm actually now filming this on my phone, which I haven't done for a long time, so hopefully it looks okay. I'm hoping it sounds okay, but I don't really know. I have ordered a new adapter for my SD card, so hopefully that will work when that arrives, but it'll be a few days. But I still wanted to get this video out, so yeah, I am filming on my phone right now. Hopefully it looks and sounds okay. With that being said, I am going to go through some book recommendations for the autumn season. So this season for me is very much getting back into fantasy. It's reading mysteries, thrillers, or cozy books like cozy fantasies, or even YA books because they are typically easier to read. So you know, it's a good time to read them when you don't really want to use any brain power and you just want to get cozy with a good book. So yeah, they're kind of the vibes of my recommendations for today. With that being said, let's just get into it. So the first recommendation I have is 5 Broken Blades by Mike Colland. This is, I have no idea, like obviously I can see where my phone camera is, but I have no idea the depth. Usually I can see myself with my camera like the flip screen, but can't see myself with the phone because I'm using my back camera. So hopefully this looks okay. Hopefully everything is on screen. But anyway, my first book is 5 Broken Blades by Mike Colland. So this is a fantasy book where 5 people have been summoned to work together to kill the God King. They are all very well versed in betrayal, in lying, in deception, but they've all got to work together now and trust each other in order to get the job done. In this we have 6 people's point of views, the 5 kind of liars, and also 1 of their bodyguards. So the fact that you're getting 6 people point of views makes the story feel like it's constantly developing, it's always moving, there's always something going on. But also it can be really frustrating in moments because I as the reader know everyone's secrets but they don't know each other's secrets, so sometimes it's frustrating when you like just tell them, like if you told them the truth it would all be fine, you know, which I think is really good. Like it makes you feel, even though the feeling is frustration or being annoyed, a good book makes you feel things, in my opinion. So yeah, I really enjoyed the series. It is 3 books. I've only read the first 2, but definitely I'm going to read the 3rd at some point. And this obviously is the first one in that trilogy. Next up we have a YA mystery, I guess it would come under, which is the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So in this series there are 4 books in total. I have read all 4, and this is, people tend to advertise it as a YA Criminal Minds, which definitely is accurate. This is basically following Cassie, who is a 17-year-old, and she's always been very good at reading people. She picks up on very small details that normally people would miss and kind of joins them all together and knows who you are just by observing you for a small amount of time. And then one day the FBI knocks on a door and basically says they are putting together a group of teenagers that they want to work together to crack cold cases. So she gets put into this like house with all these other teenagers that she doesn't know, that have all got their own specialities, and they have to work together to solve these cold cases basically. And then there is a new killer that is targeting one of them, so you're following all of them kind of just working together. Like I say, it gives very much YA Criminal Minds. She is basically a profiler, and it's just a really good series to relax with. Like I say, blanket, brew, it's that kind of like, you're not too much brain power involved, but it also kept my attention the whole way through. So that is the Natural series. Next up we have got The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So this is a romance book. If you've read Ashley Poston's books before, you will know typically she has some kind of magical realism in her books, And this one, basically we're following Florence, who is a ghostwriter for a famous romance writer, but she's just gone through a heartbreak and she's had enough of writing about romance. But then one day she gets a call from her family back home to say her dad's passed away, so she has to go back to a small town that she's not been to for 10 years. She's been kind of avoiding it. And at her dad's funeral, this ghost appears who doesn't know why he's there, he doesn't know how he got there, he doesn't remember dying, and only Florence can see him. So she kind of helps him figure it out, basically. And it is a romance with the ghost being our MMC. So yeah, really enjoyable, just a fun romance. Perfect for this time of year, obviously, with the ghosty vibes. And yeah, would definitely recommend. Also, Ashley Poston in general, I would recommend her writing. I've not read her newest book yet, but I'll get round to it at some point. But yeah, that is The Dead Romantics. And then next we've got You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron. This is only quite a short book. This is basically following Charity, who works... She's got like a dream summer job working at this camp where people pay to be guests and they are paying to get scared, basically. It's like almost like a slasher film setup where Charity plays the final girl, who in horror movies is like the last girl to be alive. And it is the last day of the season at this camp, and her co-workers all of a sudden start going missing, and Charity finds herself in the middle of an actual horror slasher film. It's just a very quick, enjoyable, fun read. Like I say, it reads, if you can imagine it, if you're someone that imagines kind of the books in your head, it very much is like a horror slasher. A little bit daft but enjoyable, a little bit scary, like on the edge of your seat. Just a really, like I say, fun, quick read. So would definitely recommend that one. Next up, we have got a YA mystery series, which is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So this series it's a trilogy, but it's also got 2 books, I believe, that are outside of the trilogy. I don't know if the prequels, I don't know if the spin-offs, I've not read the other 2, but you can just read these 3 and the story is wrapped up within the trilogy. And this is following Stevie, who is a true crime enthusiast. So when she gets asked to attend the Ellingham Academy, which is a private school for kind of the elite, in the sense of, not the elite like money wise, but in the sense that all these kids have got their own specialities, talents. And it's also the setting of a mystery that happened years ago. So when she gets that opportunity, she jumps at it, basically, to attend there. And she decides she's gonna crack the case while she's there. She's also got she's got to stay on top of her schoolwork, she's got to make new friends, she's got to keep those friends, she's got to avoid breaking any rules, but also, ultimately, she is going there to crack and solve this cold case. There are a lot of twists and turns in this. Basically, the mystery is, I think he was called Albert Ellingham, who was like the creator of this school. His wife and daughter went missing and no one ever discovered what happened to them. And the only kind of clue in this cold case is that there was a riddle left that was signed by Truly Devious. So that's obviously hence the namesake of this series. And while she's there is another clue by Truly Devious, as like the killer is back, or is it a copycat, or what's going on. So that's kind of the clue that she's left with. There's a lot of twists and turns in this series. It kept my attention throughout it. I was invested in it. I wanted Stevie to win, you know, I wanted her to figure this out. It's a really good cast of characters that you're kind of rooting for, but also a little suspicious of everyone, which you're meant to be. You don't know who you can trust. It's just a really good YA mystery series, so would definitely recommend. Next up, we've got a new release which I read recently, which I'm sure most people know about now, and it is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. So this is advertised as toxic lesbians. I'm pretty sure that's the kind of phrase that many people use, and it is definitely that, like that is accurate, but it's also so much more than that as well. This basically is a book that is set over 3 different timelines. We've got the 1500s, the 1800s I think it was, and then 2019, and you're following Maria from the 1500s, who obviously in that time women are seen as inferior. She's not really got any rights, she's just expected to marry and have children, and she doesn't want that for herself. And then the 1800s, we've got Charlotte, who is a little bit lost in life and doesn't really know like what she wants to do. And then we've got, in 2019, we've got Alice, who I think she was Scottish and she's moved to London. or the other way around, I can't remember. And she basically just wants a new life for herself at uni. She has one night where she just decides she's going to be someone completely new and ends up having a one night stand that completely changes her life. So this book is very much filled with female rage, it's filled with a lot of love, it's filled with finding yourself, discovering who you are, revenge. There's so much going on in this book. Again, this is a book that is very character driven, like the plot is just the characters' lives, which for me personally I really enjoy, but I know that's not for everyone. But the characters in this are so good that it did keep me hooked throughout it. Like, I wanted to know what was going to happen. So yeah, would definitely recommend. Obviously vampires, perfect for this time of year to read about. So yeah, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. And then we have Beartown by Frederick Backman, which is a very recent read for me. And this is basically set in a small town that's called Beartown, which is in the middle of a forest. It's kind of forgotten about. You're only going there if you live there. But to the residents that do live there, it is like, it's their home. It's they want to fight for it. They have a lot of love for it. And the main sort of thing that brings all these residents together is the ice hockey team. And with the ice hockey team meaning so much to these people, the kind of weight of the town's future rests on the shoulders of these young lads that play ice hockey. They're in this semi-final, and if they end up reaching the final and winning it, it could really bring a lot of, boost the economy of the town and bring a lot of people back. It could really make a difference. So there's a lot of pressure on these lads' shoulders. And this again is a very character-driven book. There's a lot going on, but a lot of it is the characters' lives, like things that happen in the characters' lives. I felt like reading this book, it made me feel every single emotion. I honestly feel like these characters are real people, like that I actually know. I felt that much for them, that they could be real. They could very well be part of like my family or friends or just people that you know around you. I think this would be a really good book to read as a book club or to buddy read, because there's a lot of kind of moral questions in this that I think would make really good discussions. I read it by myself, but I think it would be really good to read as a group so that you can kind of work through things and, kind of what would you do in those situations. I think it would make for really good discussions. I would definitely say check for trigger warnings in this book, because there is a lot of heavy stuff happening. There's a lot going on that, might be distressing for some people to read about. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I did give it 5 stars. It's also the first one in a series. The second one being Us Against You, which I've also read, and the third one being The Winners, which I've not read yet. But yeah, would really recommend. I have a lot of love for this series. Next up, we have The Cat Who Caught a Killer by L.T. Shearer, and the second one in this kind of series, which is The Cat Who Solved 3 Murders. I think there is also a third one out, but I've not read that one yet. I'm not 100% sure what it is called. But these are basically following Lulu and Conrad. Lulu being a retired police detective, and I think she retired because her husband passed away, so she just wants to live like a relaxing life now. She wants to be on a canal boat and just live peacefully. And then one day Conrad, who is a talking cat, joins her on this canal boat, and they work together. Conrad wants to help her to sort of solve the mystery around her mother-in-law's death, who dies suspiciously in a care home. So they kind of want to work together to figure that out. That's the sort of plot of the first one. I honestly can't actually remember the plot of the second one, but yeah, I would really recommend it. Just very cozy mystery. If you've ever watched Vera, which was a program I think on ITV, where that's kind of an older woman who is a detective, it kind of gives that vibe where it's just a very comforting, nostalgic for me read that's just very enjoyable for this time of year. So yeah, would definitely recommend those. Next up, we have got a duology by Laura Bates, and that is Sisters of Sword and Shadow is the first one, and then Sisters of Fire and Fury is the second. So it is only a duology that you are committing to, and these are following Cass, who has grown up in a place where women are expected to marry and they're expected to have children, they're expected to be good wives, and she just doesn't want that for herself. Her sister is about to get married and she realised she's going to be next, and she just doesn't want that. And then one day she comes across this woman who basically promises her a different life. She said, you don't need that, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can come with me and lead a completely different life. So Cass basically jumps at the chance and goes with her. And she leads her to this sisterhood of Silk Knights, which is basically a group of women knights. And here she learns to fight, she learns what the sisterhood means, she learns to protect them. She just learns a completely different way of life and a completely new family. It's a very easy to read fantasy book, which obviously is filled with female rage, it's filled with women knights, it's filled with women working together, but they're also still deemed as less, even though they are like fighters and they work hard together and they protect themselves. They basically got to be a secret society because they're not allowed to be like that. And yeah, it's very intriguing to read about, and just a really enjoyable read. I really enjoyed it, and the fact it's only a duology, like I said at the beginning, you're not committing to a 5-book series. But yeah, would really recommend both of these. Okay, we've got 3 left. So next up we have got The Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass. So it would be the perfect time to read this through September because the next one comes out in October. This was actually one of, if not my favourite read of last year. I've actually already read it twice and I'm trying to stop myself from rereading it again because I want to read it just before the second one comes out. And this book is basically following Alexis Hurt, who is an orphan girl who has been fostered by this really awful, abusive man and woman. And one day she's going to school to do one of like a random school test, and each test begins with a blood test, which leads her to be sent to the Spartan War Academy, where Olympians and Chthonics fight for the prize of immortality. So you've got Olympians, who are basically the good guys. They have all got powers that are used to help people, and then you've got Chthonics, who are the villains because all their powers can only hurt people. Obviously there's a lot of Greek mythology in this, which usually is not my thing, honestly, but I think in this book it's so, at first there's a lot of information, there's a lot of hierarchy. If you already know a lot about Greek mythology, maybe it wouldn't be so confusing, but there is a lot going on. But as soon as you get into like Alexis Hurt and following her story, it's so easy to follow. It's so funny. She's a very self-deprecating heroine who doesn't really know why she's there. She doesn't think she belongs there, but obviously a blood test says that she does. And then you've got very alpha male types as the MMCs. It's a very fun, exciting, very immersive read. I felt very like in the world pretty much from the beginning. And like I say, the second installment is coming out in October, so the perfect time to get this read. I'm actually really looking forward to rereading it and then reading I'm pretty sure it's The Bonds of Hercules that comes out, the second one. So yeah, would really recommend this. I enjoyed it so much. Next up, we have got The Abandoned Realm by Brittany Hanson. This basically is, so for me, it was a really unique concept that I've never seen before, or that I've ever personally read about. And it basically is whenever a writer ends up discarding a book, the characters in that book has sent to the abandoned realm to sort of live out their days. However, the less people that are enjoying fiction and that are believing in the power of fiction, the more the kind of boundary between the real world and the abandoned realm is weakening. And one day someone takes advantage of that, one of the characters takes advantage of it and creates a portal in between both. And these characters all of a sudden are in the middle of San Francisco, these like book characters. You've got monsters, you've got heroes, you've got villains. There's all different types of characters that have all been, like I say, discarded from someone's writing. And you have got Bex, who is a failed writer who ends up deciding a book's rubbish. She throws it away, she decides she's not going to do it anymore, and she has to work together with her main character that she wrote, who obviously is a little bit resentful, like, you just dismissed me and didn't want to finish my story. But they have to work together to close this portal and save the world, basically. So yeah, it's a really unique concept. I really enjoyed this book. I don't know if Brittany Hanson has got any other books out, but I would definitely recommend this. It was just a fun read, Really cool concept, and yeah, just very, very enjoyable. And last but not least, we have got Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. So this was a debut novel for Lucy Jane Wood, and it's very cozy, witchy fantasy book. We're basically following Bella Blackthorne, who when she was 15, the sort of rules in her coven, when she was 15, her powers were awakened, and then when she is 30, she has to go through these trials to decide if she gets to keep her powers or not. Basically, they go through everything she's done over the past 15 years to figure out if she's worthy of keeping her powers, but she didn't know that the past 15 years were this big long test. She didn't know that her coven was going to make her do this. It's like a big secret that everyone has to keep. So over these 15 years, she's just been living a life. She works in this bookshop with a really horrible boss, and she's been living among non-witch folk, so she doesn't really use her powers a lot. She's trying to keep the fact she is a witch hidden, so she only really uses them for like matters of convenience. Like if no one's around her, she sort of will use her powers to stir a cup of tea while she's getting something out of the oven, that type of thing. She's just using it for convenience. So, and also she doesn't want her roommate to see that she is a witch. So whether she passes this trial or not decides basically if she gets to keep her powers or if they end up getting taken away from her. So it's a really enjoyable concept. There's a bit of a romance in there, but it just gives very cozy, witchy, perfect for autumn. It's literally the perfect book for autumn. It gives amazing vibes. But yeah, would really, really recommend. Also the second one, Uncharmed, I think it's called, is coming out this month or next month. I think it's this month. I want to say it's the end of September that it comes out. Which is not, it's not a follow-on for this, but I think I would assume that it's gonna be, you know, characters from this book are maybe gonna make cameos in the other one. I'm not really sure, but I'm looking forward to that coming out. But yeah, would really recommend this. Probably the most autumnal book I own that I've recommended in this video. But yeah, that is Rewitched, and that is the end of today's video. Hopefully the quality and everything has been okay in this. Like I said at the beginning, I am filming this on my phone, so hopefully it's not been too bad. We'll see, I guess, when I edit it. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did and you'd like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. But other than that, I will see you in a bit.